The other day I was planning what to post. As usual, every time I plan to upload, I post a meme or whatever. So I ended up going with this one. And some people seem upset about it, and some are taking a little bit too literally. I mean, look, when I personally saw this, I thought it was funny because I'm surprised somebody invested their time to make this. And what's sad though is that somebody was definitely inspired by something to make this. You know what I'm saying? You don't just come up with this out of nowhere. You have to have some sort of trauma. It's kind of overgeneralizing relationships. People sadly do believe this though. Personally speaking, I'm not a mind reader, but I've never been in a situation like this before, as far as I'm aware. I did have an ex that would say that she was upset. She missed hanging out with her friends because we were spending a lot of time together. But that's understandable, especially for those who have been in relationships. You know what it's like when you end up spending a lot of time with your significant other to the point where you don't hang out with the homies anymore. I've been on both sides of that. Now, I'm somebody who is a bit comparative as a person, right? I think it's one of my biggest flaws. And I sometimes struggle with it. For example, if I make a new friend, I sometimes compare them to my old friends or my current friends. I don't openly express it, but sometimes if you're too different than something I'm comfortable with or used to, it's going to be harder for me to build a friendship with you. Same with relationships to an extent. I always said in my videos, and if you follow the Aku Anime timeline, you can see why I'm attracted to a certain type. But I always say that I like women who are more on the unhinged side. And I'm aware that stability is sadly not as appealing to me as it would be for somebody who is more toxic. You know what I'm saying? I got things I gotta deal with. You know what I'm saying? I think this is due to past events that have negatively impacted my life. And it's difficult for me to be with somebody or something new. As they say, you might always go back to what you're used to. So with this picture here, somebody mentioned it was unrealistic. I don't think so, but I'm not as extreme as this in terms like if I'm smashing cheeks, I'm not thinking about an ex, you know what I'm saying? Or comparing material wealth, like having a certain car or what you can invest our money into, what invest our money into together, or what invest our money into together, and what your physical attributes are. If I like you, I like you. I likely will just compare social differences. I mean, I feel like people do that to an extent as well. How many times have you guys compared certain things to what you're used to? As you grow older and experience new things, you deal with new people and new personalities. I actually have another picture I was going to post that day, but I saved it for a video. I guess I'll talk about it next video because now I'm looking at this picture a little bit more as I'm recording this, and I'm analyzing it a bit more. And I feel like a lot of things here are the same exact things y'all be complaining about. I can see why the comments to this post were like all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Some people think this comic strip makes sense, and some people think it's unrealistic completely. I do want to point out something. If you notice in the comic strip, right? Just look at this again. This man seems more neutral than anything. Sure, some of the slides he seems a bit saddened. But one thing you can point out in any case is that he's unaware of these thoughts. You got this lady that he's in a relationship with feeling unsatisfied internally, and this dude is still providing for her. Yo, this dude is smashing her cheeks, taking her out to dinner, and two of the slides, okay, probably some expensive dinner, and he's driving her everywhere, okay? Yet she is not satisfied. She's not expressing it. Yet he is still giving her experiences. This is why I never understood. Well, I wouldn't say I never understood, because some people feel like they can't express things to their partner, but like, yo, if you go on Reddit and talk about your relationship, like, am I the asshole for my ex doing like, bro, what do you like? Some people looking for a relationship advice on Reddit, and they're always going to give you the same answers, like, yo, divorce, break up with them. Like, people don't want to compromise on Reddit. It's crazy. But anyway, I mean, look, how many times have y'all been in relationships or friendships where you kept giving to somebody, and the whole time you realized later on they weren't happy with you or felt some way about you? The whole time you're just you keep giving to them, and you didn't realize something was going on. Is that truly unrealistic? You feel blindsided at times because, like the comic is showing, this dude is completely unaware of these thoughts. Yet he is expected, as a man in a relationship, he is expected to, quote, perform and do all of this. And if you disagree with that, you have to think about traditional gender norms, which a lot of people enforce to this day, especially those macho man, alpha male social media figures and these hyper feminine, somewhat woke female YouTubers who talk about how men should be expected to provide security, excitement, and status. And meanwhile, the woman is expected or hoping that she gets the best deal out of the relationship. That's what they're preaching. Okay. Now, I'm being critical over traditional gender norms being enforced. I grew up in a household where that was somewhat similar, and I may act that way as well. In a relationship, I like being that security and excitement. And I'm not sure about status though. Like, I'm not interested in being some popular dude out here or being like the richest person on the planet, or, money is great. I love money, but like my financial status is not something I'm like jumping off the walls about. But a lot of people value that in relationships because it coexists with security. And that adds to the point about the picture about how she's like, oh my God, my ex had a Porsche. It reflects that material wealth and social status are unfortunately linked together at times. People always say that money attracts women. Is it that black and white? And I listen, I do think it's a little bit more complex. I think somebody who has a lot of money may make anybody, male or female, curious and interested in them, not always romantically. About 2 months ago, I got invited by a friend to get some dinner, but the place is like an hour-long drive. When I arrived, my friend brought a bunch of his friends who I've never met in my life. And I don't like that, by the way. Dude, I don't like meeting new people, okay? If you say that you and I are gonna hang out, don't invite people, all right? Anyway, besides the point, I went to the bathroom during dinner. I had to go. And I went outside to get something from my car. The person who parked next to me in the parking lot, he had a Cybertruck. And you know, a lot of people don't like Cybertrucks because of design, and you know how people are mixing politics into it now. I personally think it's a cool car. Is it weird looking? Kind of. Would I buy one? I wouldn't. I can't afford one either. But that's the thing. Cybertrucks are expensive. And yet, it was cool seeing one, like really close. He parked right next to me here. So I went inside and I asked my friend, yo, whose Cybertruck is that? Because I got my car here and I see this big tank next to my car. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this, bro? It looks like that TF2, the car. I forgot what it's called, bro. Like, I was like, what is this, bro? And my friend tells me that it's this guy who joined us for dinner. And I was suddenly intrigued by this guy. Not romantically, hey, yo, but I was curious. Like, hey. No, he showed me who this guy was, the friend here. I was like, hey, what do you do? What do you do for work? Do you have a business? What's going on? And it opened up a conversation. Now, all of a sudden, remember I told you how I didn't want to talk to any of these people. Now, all of a sudden, this guy's got a Cybertruck. This guy must have a lot of money. I'm thinking, I'm curious. And again, all because this guy has material wealth. I'm not attracted to bro in that way, you know, but I want to know more about him. I'm curious. What do you do, bro? Because, hey, maybe you could give me some advice, you know, because clearly we associate material wealth with somebody who made it, somebody who's successful. So, you know, naturally our brain will just like look at something and be like, I'm curious. And now think about how this may work with somebody who dates men. I say that vaguely because, you know, a woman may have the same curiosity piqued as I was, except she may also find him romantically attractive at the same time after having a conversation. And this is what I meant about how you get approached because of your material wealth and financial status. So when people say like, yo, women like money, I think it definitely does open up opportunities, but you can still crash out and fail to get to make it to the next step. You can have a lot of money, but it doesn't stop you from being a cornball. Overall, it's about cognitive bias. Humans tend to focus on what they lack rather than what they have. A lot of us have this issue. We don't count our blessings because we're too busy focusing on the negative aspects. And in a further case, sometimes people do feel less satisfied with their current relationship when they constantly compare it to an idolized past or ideal past. Maybe that's a better word. I've been through that a handful of times, and I've shared so many stories on this channel about exes, for example. Like, I admit in some of those relationships, I screwed up. The first serious girlfriend I had, even though she cheated on me, and I said this in the video where I spoke about this, I was terrible to her. I was neglectful. I wasn't very nice when I spoke to her. I was irritated all the time because 18-year-old Aku was very unhappy as a person in general. But after the relationship, I realized how much she was doing for me, how much love she was trying to give me regardless of my terrible personality. And I'm not perfect to this day, but I always think about that. I treasure relationships a lot more now. And at times when I'm with somebody, I do end up thinking, right? I felt like I was treated better in the past. I kind of miss how I was treated, you know, or like, I kind of want to be with somebody who loved me as much as that ex did, who helped me. Like, I sometimes may miss that due to a bias that I have. You know what's unrealistic about this comment? Because we want to talk about unrealism. What's unrealistic is expectations. So even though, like myself, I may have comparative moments, the constant comparison will harm my personal happiness and when I say satisfaction. Having certain expectations is completely unrealistic, and you can't just magically change somebody. And at times we may forget that. A person who you're dealing with can't be the same exact way as someone who you treasured in the past. It's difficult to get over it. No single partner or friend will check every single box that a past partner had. Yet the human mind will trick us into believing if we found the near perfect or exactly perfect partner, we'll be satisfied. And we may say the saying that nobody's perfect, right? Yet we will act like somebody has to be. We romanticize the past because even though we look at the negative things more than the positive, in the past, we can also at times inflate the good moments. It's a paradox. But we suppress the reasons why the relationship ended to begin with, yet we look at the good moments, like I just did with the cheating ex. I think the term is selective memory bias. And furthermore, the pain of loss is something we try to divert from. So we end up thinking about the good stuff. And as a result, this is where the comparison habits come in. Bruh. I didn't even get to talk about the picture I actually want to talk about today because that's a whole other topic. I guess for next video. I think y'all will like it, by the way. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen. Not the